Everything began 2 days ago around 9 o'clock in the evening when the baby started to get worse. So basically his oxygen and heartbeat values were going up and down, where they were not stable. So doctor decided to do a blood test and they found out he was missing iron. That's why they decided for a blood transfusion, which was made around 3 o'clock in the night. I was there. He got the blood transfusion in order to get more red blood cells. At 5 o'clock, blood transfusion was ended and nurses gave the baby to me for a kangaroo care session. It was very quiet and values were stable after the transfusion, the blood transfusion. After a couple of hours, around 7 o'clock in the morning, everything just collapsed. Baby's values, oxygen and heartbeat, started to go crazy again, while his temperature, his body temperature, went up to 37.9, almost 38. He started to have a serious problem in breathing, and last but not least, and mainly worst, he was really calm, very sleepy, eyes were closed, he was pale and he was extremely weak. He didn't cry the entire day actually, while he usually cries because he's a baby. It seems like he was in coma. His heartbeat was 220 beats per minute, but he was lying down and he was immobile. It was like freezed. And it's hard to say, he really seemed to me and my girlfriend, he seemed to be dead. It's very hard to say, but that's exactly the feeling that we had. If you look at him, he was dead. In my opinion, he was dead. Obviously, he was not dead because the heartbeat was going up to 220. That's why we were scared. This is what happened the whole day. Around 7 o'clock p.m., nurses, that they didn't know what to do anymore, they asked doctors for help. So one of the doctors came to my baby, they checked our baby, and they decided to do a blood test and an X-ray. The blood test was fine, nothing bad, but through the X-ray they noticed something wrong in the belly. So another doctor arrived and checked his poo, and unfortunately they found blood in his poo. When they found blood in his poo, they started to get seriously worried, visibly worried. We were there all the time, me and my girlfriend, and we saw everything. And when they took the poo test, they looked through the light and they saw blood, they all got worried in 1 second. They called another doctor and they decided, three doctors, they decided for an ultrasound test to the belly, because they were suspecting that some parts of the belly were engaged together like a knot, which is very serious problem. So they called another unit in order to get the ultrasound machine, and while they were waiting for the ultrasound machine to arrive, they also called the surgery unit in order to get ready for a possibly urgent surgery to my baby. That was the situation. So the ultrasound machine arrived, they did the examination. At the end of the day, it was not what they were suspecting, so it was a good news, but at the same time, we didn't know what the real problem was. When you have your son lying down with problem, you can tell he has a problem. He cannot breathe properly. He looks like that. And when doctors, they don't know what is it, you started to get worried because hours are passing by and your son is still coma. It was around 9 o'clock in the evening. They decided, let's wait a few hours. Tomorrow morning, around 8 o'clock in the morning, we will do another blood test. So in the morning, around 10 o'clock, they took some blood from my baby and they tested it. They found out there was an infection going on. So they started to give him antibiotics for the belly. What's the situation now? He's definitely more active, more alive, more like before, less weak, back to normal activity. He's crying, he's moving, he's breathing better. He doesn't have a high temperature anymore. He's not eating because of the belly infection, so he's losing weight. Just today he lost 60 grams. That is not a good thing for premature baby. What's the situation now? That we are waiting to know if antibiotics will work, if they're doing their job. What's the cause of the infection? If the infection will go away, we still don't know it. We only know there is an infection in the belly. We need to test the poo, we need to test the pee, we need to test the blood, we need to do x-ray again. All these examination will be done every 6-12 hours. Since 2 days we are here. Since it started to got worse, we are here. We only go home for a quick shower, like 30 minutes, maximum 1 hour, and then we go back 24 hours with the baby. We were really scared yesterday. Claudia cried a lot. At some point we really believed that we were close to the beginning of the end, because there are premature babies here, and since we are here, we already saw 2 babies dying, and you never know what will happen tomorrow. If something bad will happen, it will be like this, the baby starts to be in a coma, like that. When you see your baby crying active, and when you see your baby starting not cry anymore, and basically flat, eyes closed, flat, like this, and heartbeat going up and down, up and down. When you see this, you think the worst things ever. Obviously, we were scared. It was a nightmare. But unfortunately, we are used to it, because our real nightmare started the 29th of August and is still on. Unfortunately, yesterday, the worst day ever, is just another normal day here in the intensive care. We never left the hospital. We are here close to the baby 24 hours a day, checking the values on the computer, on the screen. We are here because our baby is fighting and we want to fight with him. Now it's 3 o'clock in the night. Our fight is still on. See you tomorrow.